here, but like outside this room. That's amazing. There's 4 of them. I know. Anyway, okay. Let me stay on track. Don't distract me, you guys. Happy Wednesday. Happy October. What the heck? We have a lot to talk about today, so let's go. First, I would like to welcome our new people this week. We have Christina Slattery. Are there slides? Okay. Okay, I'll see it there. Oh, Christina. Hi, Christina. We love your photo. We'll get the picture filled in. Tiaja Patrick has joined us. Emily Green has joined us. Jason Johnson has joined us. And Mitch Smith has joined us this week. So welcome to all of our new friends and faces. Hi. Hi. I haven't been on Zoom in a while, so just give me a minute. I'm going to figure it out. There's a handful of us in the room here, different than the 70 for taco party. The market moment. Let's see. Does anybody want to share anything for our market of the moment update?
This is Dan. I'm happy to share.
Hey, Dan Becker.
Hi, let me take off video. I don't know what I look like, so we'll find out in a second. All right. So I just wanted to touch base on the current listing situation where we price ahead of the market, which Ashley has preached for a while now, right? Because as the market is taking a change and a shift. So my 2 listings that I have, one in Baker's Hill and one in Hillcrest, both of them were priced below market and are going for above asking price. So it's about being confident in what you're doing, having your clients understand what your strategy is and why you're doing that for them, and making sure that you're doing the best job that you can for your clients. So.
Great job, Dan. Nice job.
I love that. Thanks for sharing that, Dan. Ashley did actually pull up live stats this morning in our mastermind and said, where if you were at stats last week, we had dropped down in list to sell price ratio down to like 95 or 94. And now we're back up to 99. So that's because the agents are learning how to price better. And so it's pulling it back up. So great work. Thank you for sharing that. Our room is filling in. It's getting exciting. And I want to go to culture. Evie's going to share a video with us for KW Cares. And, you know, this was already on the plan to share this week. And then we had the hurricane in Florida. So, you know, for me, like when people say, why did you join KW? It was education and culture. And I won't make eye contact with anyone. KW Cares is awesome because if you guys don't understand, it's only meaningful when you need something, right? So you have a medical tragedy happening in your life, they're going to come in and help you with grants. You have a disaster, a natural disaster happen in life, and they're going to come in and help you with grants. Ashley is volunteering to work the grant calls. And just so you guys can understand what that looks like, everyone in the Keller Williams family immediately affected is getting a $5,000 grant for immediate needs and concerns. 2 of our market centers have been wiped completely off the map. They no longer exist. And I think there were like 14 others affected, Ashley, in Florida?
30 market centers were impacted, but 1,400 agents have been severely impacted.
So on Monday morning, they told us over the weekend, there was $1.94 million in emergency grants and disaster relief given out to our Florida humans. It's amazing and it chokes me up every time. So we're going to play the video, which is totally different and not about floods because sometimes it's medical stuff. And it's important to understand that like whether you're giving like $5 on a closing or whatever your amount is, of course that's tax deduction too because it's charitable donation. It matters, you guys, and this is where it goes. So play the video so I can stop talking.
One of the first things I was introduced to was about KW Care. So to me, I've always, as a man of faith, I always believe, you know, what the word says, that there's bigger blessing to the one that gives than the one that receives. And I immediately signed up for it. You always think of blessing people, and you're always on that side of the coin. You never expect to be on the other side. My wait ended in January 2nd, 3 months and 5 days later, when I got the call, and it was.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Brand new.
Gift of life.
Brand new and healthy. Apartment.
When KW Cares stepped in and they said, listen, we have a grant, we're gonna be able to help you. It was what a relief. It was definitely something that helped me and my family in such a way that you guys wouldn't understand. And I think you do, but for me, it was like, and for my family, it was the peace of mind. And to be able to focus on just our recovery and our health and not have to worry financially. And what KW Cares did is, I will eternally be grateful.
You got that part? Okay. You turn yours down, Evie.
Sorry.
I'm echoing in the room now. It's super awesome. So I appreciate the comic relief because I talk about KW Cares and I can't not share emotions. It's, some people think I'm a robot. I actually cry a lot. It's interesting. So I share that because there's the, what? I know, right? I'm from Jersey. So you can go into command and share, you can set it to be an automatic donation. And like, literally, you guys imagine there's 200,000 agents in the world. If everyone's giving as much as like $5, $20, some little amount that you think like, does that really matter? Times 200,000, it matters. So watch the video on your own if you want to. You're still screen sharing, Evie. And just, you know, help. That's it. Perfect.
Sarah.
Evie, training events.
Yep.
Do you want to go from there or do you want me to talk? Oh, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I just want to say KW Cares is a really powerful tool that we have. And, you know, if you do an automatic donation with every transaction that you do, you don't even notice that it's missing. It just comes out and it goes to such a good cause and it's so powerful. You know, one of the things that KW is built on is building relationships and giving back to our community. And that includes taking care of our agents, whether they're in-house or across the country or across the world. And that's where this is such a powerful tool that we have to help us be better than just your regular agent in the community. And so it's something I want everybody to really consider.
Thank you for eloquently saying what I was struggling with. Thank you, Dan. That's perfect. And it's just so true. And it's the thing that like, you don't want to have to need it. And yet when you need it, I promise you it'll be there. As long as you're here, it will be there. I've been in the room where people pull out their phone and give what they can and pay off someone's mortgage because of a death in the family. So like, there's just so much goodness that happens. So like I said, give what you can, set that donation amount, then go into your, you know, tax memory and remember that you're deducting and giving charitable contributions all the time. Okay, we have a lot of events coming up. Tomorrow we have the business planning clinic with the amazing Ashley. You have to register, please. We have a lot of people scheduled to be here in the room. So if you plan on being here, please let us know by scheduling yourself. So we have your seat saved and the room set up appropriately and all the things in alignment for you. It is 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. It is a whole day. I promise you, you will come out different than you went in a good way. And from someone who's done a ton of business planning over time, the first time I did a KW business planning clinic was pre-COVID. Right before COVID shut down, and it was so much more than you could expect from like, oh, I've done that. People were like, I did one before. And I'm like, okay, are you running at optimal prime and like nothing could be better? Because if that's not the case, then you should come back. And then we have Bold kicking off Monday, October 10th. The first with coding, as Alicia wants us to know. So come for the eye candy, stay for the free food, learn something by mistake while you're there. It's October 10th. It is at Mission Bay. All the information is available online. The first step is for you guys, and I was going to have Jacqueline talk about it, but it's in events, so I'm just going to keep going. I had someone tell me this morning, I don't want to go to Bold because I don't do all that. And I was like, what does that mean? Tell me more about that. And it turns out this person had never been to Bold before, and they just had made up a story in their mind of what it was. And that's not right or wrong. It just is, right? And so they thought it was like high intense, super salesy, copies for closers, like, you know, cold call your brains out. And I was like, oh, no. If that's your jam and you're a cold caller, then like, yeah, it's going to appeal to you that you should be cold calling. But business objective life by design is just that. And as we move through this market right now, and the interest rates are fluctuating and time on market's changing and pricing is changing and people have questions, if you could come be in the room with one of the leaders of the largest expansion team on the globe, you might learn something like from their background and from the book, right? So come with an open mind to the 10th. It's free, sign up. It's the whole county and it's right here at home for us. And then if you are signing up for steps 2 through 7, if you do it before Monday, your name will be in a drawing to win cash back on your next closing from Company Dollar, $400, $800, or $1,000. You can also use education points, y'all. You know, we don't, Nancy's like holding on to those dollars and working on profitability on our side too. So if we're giving you incentives, it's because I do believe it's that meaningful for you to attend. And Paul, do you want to talk about mortgage and mimosas? No. Oh my gosh, this space was amazing. So the DEI, this is our last event for the year, correct? The last structured event, fourth quarter. So mortgage and mimosas is focused for Spanish home buying. And he's doing it alongside with a special guest, Myrna. And that is going to be, if you like mortgages or mimosas, you should go learn about that. This Friday, October 7th, 3 to 4 p.m. So check out the Facebook page or ask Paul for specifics on that one. And if you have any questions about any of the events, because I went a little quick, I feel like, post it in the chat or else stay tuned. Broker Bob, your turn, my friend. Blinkers blinking. If you figure out whose blinkers blinking, someone's blinkers blinking. BB, try again. Alicia's in the room. She could take over. I have one here.
Okay, impromptu, where is it? So team me.
You have to come up
Oh.
because you have to talk to this computer.
I've already been on it.
Here comes Alicia.
Where's the looking? Hi. Okay, team me, Sam and Yanni got another BRE signed. Vandora got her first listing. Tino closed her first escrow. And Emily Green passed her state exam and officially joined the launch program.
Woo. That's it.
That's it.
And for other successful coaching clients, your coaches have not updated us, but we will celebrate you next week when they do. BB, do you have anything broker related to share? I can't hear you, no. So call her later if you do. Text us, call in, no bueno, baby. Evie said, no, we cannot hear you. Ed, Wes, Matt, Amanda, Anthony, I see boxes, I see faces. Who wants to talk today?
I could talk today. Yeah, so yeah, Matt from Movement. Just here to say, if you guys do have buyers out there that have not talked to their lenders recently, definitely get them in that conversation. Let them know where they qualify. You know, it's always good to pick up the phone yourself, call the lender, make sure that you know your buyer's loan's in good standing. So definitely make sure you're doing that. Yeah, hope to see you guys soon around the office. I know I'm not there today, miss you guys. And yeah, that's basically all I got. Anthony?
One other thing, I know that we recently talked about our early release conforming loan limits for 2023 being at 715. That is actually changing as of tomorrow. It was just announced it's actually been reduced to 700,000. So anything that we work on up until today, that will remain at the 715, but as of tomorrow, it will be reduced. So definitely, if you have any questions, let us know. We'll keep you guys posted with any additional information we have on those early releases and the actual amounts that we'll have. And yeah, that's about it from us.
Thank you. I'm going to double down on that for you. If your buyers have not recently talked to their lender about their pre-approval amounts, assume that their paper is worth the paper it's written on and send them back to get requalified to know what they can actually afford in this moment right now. And how many of us have studied the 2-1 buy down conversation from last week and learned something this week? Anybody? Jacqueline did. Okay, Jacqueline's ready to help her clients. I can't see the whole thing, but I said that last week, if you guys remember, and I said, like, who doesn't understand what that all means? It wasn't to make anyone feel like, what the heck? It was because it's okay. Because unless you were in the real estate market as an agent in 2001, you haven't seen a 7% interest rate. So you're not familiar with how that works exactly. So the point is education and conversation, and let's make sure we are doing that to help our people.
And Sarah, really quick, if any of the agents actually have a scenario that they might want to play around with, it's like, what if this were to happen? What if we were to put this on the table for one of our buyers to see what it would look like? Send us an email, give us a call. We have a really easy template that we can put together for you to show the full breakdown. And so you can just see that right in front of you and see how much money it will cost them up front, but also how much they're going to, quote unquote, potentially be saving over those first 2 years. So they know what that's going to look like in their payments.
Awesome. Thank you. And property pitches.
Sarah, I
Oh,
know that I'm not ready to speak, but can I add something to this?
yes, please
conversation?
do, Mike. Our special guest is jumping in. Go ahead, Mike.
What we're having a lot of what our agents are doing are convincing their sellers to offer a point or two to buy down the interest rates. If you're in a development where there's 7 homes on the market but you're buying down the interest rate, it's better than having a new kitchen because people are so concerned about interest rates. If you can offer the point, which gets 1/4 to 3/8 of a point down, you have a benefit at your home that they're not having other places. So I throw that.
Yeah. No, thank you for throwing that in. And now we expect a lot more awesomeness coming from you in just a minute. Anybody have any property pitches, or we will get right to our main feature? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Sarah, it's Broker Bob. Can you hear me now?
We hear you, BB.
Okay, I apologize that I had to reset my computer. Technology today. Thank you, Alicia, for reading the shout outs, but here's some broker stuff you guys need to work on. We get a lot of these questions every week about the FHDS, buyer hazard form, and how it needs to be filled out. And if you are selling a condo, if you're representing the buyer, the easiest thing for you when you get that form back filled out by the seller is, and there's a concern that the HOA is in a high fire district or a vegetation management code, then you've got to the buyer needs to do their own investigation on that. They can't be responsible for what the HOA does, but they need to understand what the HOA has in place. So again, if you get confusion on that, call me or Mark, and we'll walk you through it. And then finally, items included and excluded. If there's ever a doubt on a contract where something could be considered real or personal property, if it's personal property, and there needs to be clarity on that contract, you have to put it in the contract. You can't just put it on the MLS listing in confidential remarks. It's happened recently where a seller wanted to take a door because it had stained glass in it, and it was put in the MLS, but it was not put in the contract. So then it's not enforceable. So just remember, if your buyers want a water fountain that's on the back terrace, that could be considered personal real property, and you're not quite sure, put it in the contract that the buyer does want that. Okay, back to you, Sarah.
Thank you, BB. All right, I did not see any hands go up, and we are right on time for our special guest speaker. Mike Zinicola is here, and I had the pleasure of seeing you speak recently, Mike, when Paul had us get together for one of our DEI workshops. And I'm going to guess that outside of a handful of us, most of us don't know who you are. So would you please give yourself, give people a little background on who you are and what you are here to share today?
Okay, great. Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Zinicola, and I run the Easy Referral Network in Ohio and Pennsylvania. It's a large expansion network. We're the number 10 team in the entire company. Last year, we sold 1,460 units for $384 million. But I'm not necessarily here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about the Keller Williams Rainbow Network and the LGBT Housing Initiative. And what I'd like to start with, and I've been doing this most times when I speak now, no matter what the subject is. I want everyone to take a minute, and I want everyone to think about the 5 to 10 agents in San Diego, where if your buyer is going to look at their listing, or if their buyer is going to look at your listing, you hope the deal doesn't go through, because dealing with that agent is too difficult. Is everybody coming up with some names?
Oh, yeah.
Don't say them out loud, just in case some of the names are on the Zoom call. But the point is, you would never want to be that agent, because in our community and in our industry, we're the only industry that relies on our competitors to make a living. When someone goes to the BMW dealership and is looking at a 5 Series and doesn't like it, the BMW car salesman does not drive them over to the Mercedes dealership to show them a C-Class. That's not how that works. So our competitors don't have to be, we don't have to like each other. They don't have to like each other. We do. We make our living based on that. So when we're talking about DEI, when we're talking about inclusion, I'm just making the point, if you don't care about DEI, if you don't care about inclusion for altruistic reasons, you need to care about it for your business. It's important for all of us to be inclusive so that we know the other agents on the other side, they're comfortable working with us, so that when we get to the point of doing a deal with them, they're thrilled about doing it. And so please always remember that. And please always remember not to be one of those 5 realtors that you had in your head. Because if I can give you an example, I recently had a deal, and in Cleveland, Ohio, when I'm talking about these numbers, these are the most expensive homes in the area. I had a buyer for under $2 million. And there are probably 10 homes that sell for over 2 million in my whole area a year. So I had this buyer, we were in multiple offers, and the listing agent called me and said, I asked my seller permission to tell you what you need to offer to get this deal. The other offer was better than yours, but the realtor is such a hard person to deal with. I need to get your buyer in here. And so I got a $1.8 million deal out of that, only because I have a reputation of being a good agent in the community, and the other person who had the other buyer didn't. And so it's important for our business, but it's also inclusion, diversity and inclusion is important because we all need to work together. So I am the #1 LGBT realtor in America of all brokerages. I just got that award last week. And so I know what I speak about on this call. I know that your market centers in a community where there's a decent sized LGBTQ plus population. So I know that you deal with a lot of people from our community, and there are a lot of agents I know on this call who are a member of the community. So at Keller Williams, we have a organization called the Keller Williams Rainbow Network, and many of you know what that is. Keller Williams has had an interesting journey with the LGBTQ plus community. Under the ruling of John Davis, for those of you who have been around long enough, the Rainbow Network was not even allowed to have their mastermind on campus for mega camp or family reunion. We had to find other areas to go. So the organization wouldn't even include us, wouldn't give us a room. So we'd have to find the LGBT community center when whatever community we're in, and we'd go there and we'd have our mastermind. When Josh Teen came to the table, I called him up and I informed him of this. And he was mortified. He couldn't believe that our company had that policy. And so that company no longer has the policy. And he asked me, we were in New Orleans, it was the family reunion in New Orleans, and we were at the center, and he said he couldn't make it, but he sent 3 of his people underneath him to come and express their apologies to the community for the company having that position. Since then, Keller has taken a 180-degree directional change on our community, and they're very supportive of it. And I have to tell you, Mark King is probably one of the most supportive people to our community that has ever been in this company. Mark King, last week there was the LGBT Realty Alliance conference in Vegas, and Mark King came and spoke, and he and I had a nice hour-long conversation, and he's committed to ensuring inclusion of every affinity group in the company. He is working hard to make sure everyone feels comfortable and everyone is going to be able to elevate their lives and their businesses through Keller Williams moving forward. So regarding the company's position on DEI, we have solid supporters in the C-level suites, and Mark's going to be awesome. So now the Rainbow Network is an organization that it's the LGBTQ plus agents. There's a Facebook page. There's a real community. And why I say that, every Wednesday at noon, there's a Zoom call that you can get off the Facebook page. And it's a place where LGBTQ plus realtors can come and socialize a little bit in the first 5 minutes, but every Wednesday we have a mastermind regarding something in real estate to elevate our businesses. Because when you talk about DEI, my position is there's no way to be a bigger influencer in your community than selling a lot of homes. Now, why is that? Because if you sell a lot of homes, you make a lot of money, and you can put that money towards organizations that will elevate your community, whichever community that is. And so people who make a lot of money have more influence, therefore sell a lot of homes, make a lot of money, and then use that money to elevate things. So I recently, a couple years ago, I had a Baptist minister who was moving from Tennessee to Cleveland. And he kept saying that he was really nervous about moving to Cleveland because of the size of the gay community. And I pointed out things, and I pointed out that gay community was actually a very positive thing in the city and all the things they do. I did not tell him I was gay. What I did was I sold him a house, and then I took that entire commission and donated it to the LGBT community center, because that was a better use than just walking away from this guy. I was able to show him what the community has done in Cleveland and how it works, and that the community is not scary. But then I took that money that I would have not received if I had just fired him as a client, and I put that to good use. So I just want you to remember that. So anyway, the LGBT Rainbow Network is very important for all of us on this call. The Rainbow Network community, the LGBTQ plus community, are the people most concerned with referrals when they move out of town. More than any other community, because when they're going to buy another house in another community, they don't know if their agent is going to be an ally or not. And so when you have an LGBTQ plus client who is selling and moving away, you should always tell them, I can find you an LGBTQ plus realtor or an ally who can help you on the other side. And the Rainbow Network is in every city, pretty much every market center. And so you ought to provide that, because it will be an important aspect of your client's journey to move out of town. Having said that, if you're part of the community and can be involved in the Rainbow Network, why wouldn't you? So now I'm a loud spokesman of the network, but last year I got 43 referrals from LGBT realtors or other realtors who had LGBT clients who wanted to make sure their deals came through. So 3% of my large business came just from this. And so you should invest in time. If you are in the community, you should get on the Zoom calls and become the San Diego person. I think Chris Spade is on it, but that's the only person I think from San Diego. So there's room for other people to get involved and get referrals from this. So, and anyway, if anyone has any questions, they can ask it of me. But what I really want to talk about is in that mastermind in New Orleans a few years back, the Rainbow Network, I stood up and I said, let's do something. Let's do something that can be non-political, but can benefit the community. And I said, there's this thing called Homes for Heroes, where if you're a Homes for Heroes agent, by the way, we get about 20 deals a year from that as well, just in case you're ever wanted to look into that. Where the purpose of it is to encourage home ownership in the hero community. So you as an agent go in and you take your hero and you offer 30% of your commissions. Now you wouldn't want to do that if you already had a home. Heroes are firemen, policemen, veterans, healthcare workers, and teachers. Now, if you already have a teacher in your car, you wouldn't want to do that. But if you were to set up a program in a school system, let's say, where you're getting deals that you wouldn't otherwise have, then the 30% commission is not that big a deal. And what happens is Homes for Heroes donates 25% of the 30 to the clients in a grant 10 days after close, and 5% goes into a fund that helps veterans. So what I said is, why don't we do the same theory and create what I call the what I call the LGBT housing initiative. And the initiative has two goals: to encourage home ownership in our community and to help LGBT homeless youth. So in the LGBTQ plus community, for home ownership is at 49%. It's at 65% in the general community. Why is that? There's a lot of reasons for that I won't go into. But so what we do is some agents participate in the program where they donate 25% of their commissions, 20% goes to the client, and 5% goes into homeless youth fund. Now, why would you do that? Well, the people who actually market that program make a lot of extra business. So it's not really losing 25%, it's gaining 75% of what you otherwise wouldn't have. It's also good for the community. It allows people the extra to get into a house. Maybe they paid all their money for the down payment and closing costs, and all of a sudden, but they need a new refrigerator, or they need to carpet, or quite frankly, the process was so strenuous they needed a week vacation somewhere. They need to go to Palm Springs for the weekend. Whatever it is, they can use that money for that. We're finding that a lot of agents who market that program are having great success with it. But the real passion about what we created is the other 5%. So what we have is some people donate 5% of their commissions. Other people's donate 5, 10, 25, 50, $100 a deal. Some people donate $100 a month, $50 a month. And we put it into a fund. And what that fund does is we search organizations who help LGBT homeless youth get off the street. What a lot of people don't know is that while we're probably somewhere between 4 and 10% of the population, 40% of all homeless youth are LGBT related. And that's because, and in a market center like you probably don't have any parents like this, but around the country, people still kick their 14-year-olds out of their home if they find out that Johnny has a boyfriend. And as unfathomable as that probably is to every single person on this screen, it happens all over. And so what we're finding is all these organizations, they sometimes get federal funds, but the federal funds are so restrictive, they can't do what they need to do with it. So let me give you a couple examples of what we've done. One of the cities with the biggest problems in America is Salt Lake City. And you say, at first you say what, and then you figure out why, because the religion of the city is pretty strict. And there's an organization there that helps the kids. Now, the owner of the organization had, the person who started the organization was a member of the Mormon Church, and her 14-year-old came out as her gay son. And they didn't force her, but they told her he had to go through this training. And in the training, they told a 14-year-old boy that if he doesn't stop doing gay things, he will wind up, Jesus will take his life early and deliver him down to hell personally and sit there and watch him burn. That's what the Mormon Church told this 14-year-old boy. So she obviously took him out of that. Her second child wound up to be a transgendered girl. And the church told them, you have to choose the church or your kids. Well, I don't know if anybody has kids on this. That's a pretty easy decision. So she left and she started this organization called The Circle. And it's to help kids who get screwed up because of the teachings of the church. She gets federal funds for a lot of things, but she doesn't get federal funds for mental health. And so our organization donated $10,000 to their mental health fund because that's such a needed thing there. In other organizations we've done is we had an organization in Dallas, and they were a fledgling organization, and they really just concentrated on emergency shelter. And they had 4 hotel rooms. And they all 4 were filled, and an 18-year-old boy came in Parents found out he had a boyfriend, kicked him out of the house, stopped paying for his schooling, all because he was gay. And he went to the organization, and they said all 4 rooms are filled, but you can sleep on the couch in the office. You can come to my house for a shower, and a room is going to be empty in 2 days, and then you will get the room. The boy said, okay, but it was too overwhelming for him that he was homeless at that point, and he wound up leaving and killing himself and not coming back never coming back, obviously. So what our organization did was $10,000 would buy 2 more rooms for a year. So we donated $10,000, but then I called the hotel and I said, I'm going to give you a check for $10,000, but I need 3 rooms for the year. And they said, well, that would cost $15,000. I said, no, it's not. You know what good they're doing, and you know that this is a great thing, and you're going to support it. And then they did wind up giving us 3 rooms for the year. So now all 7 rooms are filled on a regular basis. And let's say it's 6 rooms. By just donating $25 a deal to this organization, people don't even notice that. You know, when you do a deal, you go out and celebrate your transaction. So have 1 martini and not 3 martinis, and donate $25 to the organization. I mean, it's not a big deal for anybody. And yet we now have 2 extra rooms in Dallas where homeless children who've been kicked out of their house can go stay. And then counselors come in and they help them and they help elevate them out. And I've been able to talk to kids all over the country. And they're just regular kids. You know, they may be different in their sexuality, but they're just regular kids. And they find themselves in this situation. You know, I was just your basic successful gay guy living my best life in Bay Village, Ohio, not knowing any of this. And the local organization in Cleveland, I had a really nice house that was on Lake Erie that they could put a nice fundraiser in. And they said, can we do a fundraiser in your backyard? I said, sure. I said, what's it for? She said, the Metro Youth Project. And I didn't even know what it was. I'm embarrassed to say that, but I like to say it. I didn't even know what it was. And then they had 3 of the kids come and tell me about how they were helped by this organization and they were elevated off the street. And after those 3 kids talked to me, this has been my mission for the rest of my life. This is my thing. When kids lose their homes and their parents walk away from them, they become our kids, and we have to do something for them. And so this is our way. I started the organization, but this is not my organization. It's the organization of the Keller Williams Rainbow Network. And we're doing good things. In 16 months, we've raised $200,000. And so far, we've given out 16 $10,000 grants around the country. And so when I speak, I say, if there's an organization in San Diego, you should let me know. And we'll put it on our radar to see if we can help in your community too. I think it's a great thing. When I spoke to Mark King while he was in Vegas last week, he's actually working on not only for the LGBT housing initiative, but for like 10 other organizations that are sponsored by different groups in the community in Keller Williams. He's actually going to put them on a self-directed Keller Cares donation. So that, I mean, he's working on this. This isn't in place yet, but we're hoping by the beginning of the year next year that when you can go in and you can donate to organizations that are being sponsored by Keller Williams agents. And when that time comes, I hope you remember today, and you maybe send a donation here or there over to us, because it's really good work. I assure you, we vet all organizations, and me and my business partner, Greg Erlinger, we pay for all the administration of the whole thing, so that 100% of your monies will go directly to organizations who are helping kids. So that's really what what I wanted to talk about. Does anybody have any questions? Comments? Okay.
Anybody? I saw Kevin writing in the chat, being from Tennessee, he knows that happens all too well. I heard someone come off mute. Who was that?
That was me. I was just going to say, I get to sit in on the Wednesday masterminds, and just to see us as a group with the KW Rainbow Network give those grants out, and just when nobody else is giving these organizations money, it's awesome. I've been able to use or leverage the housing initiative with some of my clients as well. So it's a great organization, and you get the warm fuzzies whenever you get to take. I mean, kids is my passion anyway. So, when you get to take a homeless youth off the street. What's the numbers now, Mike? It was 25 homeless kids off the street or more last year.
With all the donations we made, no, we've assisted about 100 kids get off the street. So, and it makes a difference. And even if it's one kid, wouldn't you be willing to donate $25 for one kid? And if anyone wants to go on the website, it's LGBT, no Q's or pluses, LGBThousinginitiative.com.
So, Mike, I have something to say. My name is Broker Bob. I'm the broker for the office, and for years,
okay.
myself and other members of our office helped raise money for the Sunburst Housing Project, which is for LGBTQ youth between the ages of 18 to 24. And there are 17 on-site residential units where kids come in off the street. If they get one of the units and they stay there to recover, get medical care, get psychological care. And then the goal is to get them to transition into permanent housing so they can stay there if they have a job or going to school or a combination of both until they get back up on their feet. And I know they're doing an event coming up. It's called Harvest How, which we've done for years. It was disbanded for a little bit because the organization that ran it, no leadership set up, and now we're having more leaders step up. Would I have them contact you for grants?
Yes. Yeah, me directly. I actually, I'm the one who talks to all the organizations, I get all the information and talk to the board, and we agree to do grants. So in your city, then your organization is one of like this full service thing where it's not only emergency housing, it's not only shelter, it's elevating them out of homelessness, and they can stay there a longer period of time. And they have federal funds.
About 2 years. Yeah.
They have federal funds to handle the actual living situations. But I bet there's a lot of things that our organization has to pay for themselves that the kids really need.
Yeah, so, they're doing, we fundraised for many years throwing big parties, and it was a lot of work for everybody, but we raised pretty close to probably $1 million for the youth housing project.
Yeah, amazing. And the more I talk about this around the country, there's so many great organizations and people like yourself who take the time to make a difference in people's lives who we don't even know, but we know are suffering.
I'll have a gentleman named Ivan Solis contact you.
Definitely do that. That'd be great.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
That'd be great. Anyone else? Well, I'm here for 10 more minutes if you want. I run a large company. If you have any questions about running a team or any questions about any other aspect of growing big at Keller Williams.
I always tell our group that I would like there to be a most diverse market center competition, and I think we'll win it. So, I love having you come in today and share, because there's so many affinity groups being not rolled out because the humans exist, right? But shining the light on everyone's what makes them special, and then opening the door for how can you better serve more humans by shining the light in the area that's important to you and then do good in return. I just think, especially in this market where people are feeling all sorts of strange things, when you can really focus in on what is vitally important to you, it helps people do more and then donate more and then help more. And it's just such a beautiful circle.
That's right. That's right. Currently, we're just Keller Williams in general has donated a lot to the people in Florida. And that's, I mean, there's all sorts of organizations and needs out there. My organization is the Keller Williams Rainbow Network organization for homeless kids is an important thing. But as someone who has a condo in Naples, there's a lot of people suffering there right now too. So don't forget them. So, great.
Does anybody have any questions for Mike? Or I will give you 8 minutes and 30 seconds of your life back.
Do we have
Just have the
Mike's
comment.
contact information in the chat box?
Oh, sure. I'll put that in there right now. I have to ask Bridget Potterton to explain, how do you know my partner, Greg?
I met you both at Mega Camp maybe 6 years ago, but he and I had like one of those conversations where you feel like you've known them your whole life, and we just totally bonded in the Maps Mastery Lounge.
Okay.
Then we keep in touch.
Oh, okay. Just wondering. So, all right, I'm putting the website for the LGBT housing initiative as well. Great. Well, it was a pleasure taking the time and talking here, and thank you for having me. I love the opportunity to tell this story, and just thank you so much. It means a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Thank you for shining a light, and we look forward to supporting you, support others, and do more good out there.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great afternoon, everybody.